Whether you're working toward a career in the conservation industry and need to build your resume, or you're looking for adventure and want to get out of your comfort zone, Conservation Legacy has the right experience for you. Conservation Legacy is a nationwide organization of 8 conservation service corps. Together, we focus on making a difference within our communities and the ecosystem we all share. We offer a wide variety of exciting and rewarding opportunities for you to get involved in conservation and service projects across the country. We operate from 2 main regions, East and West. Our Western programs include Arizona Conservation Corps, Conservation Corps New Mexico, Ancestral Lands, and Southwest Conservation Corps. Our Eastern programs include Appalachian Conservation Corps, Southeast Conservation Corps, and Conservation Corps North Carolina. Our Stewards Individual Placement Program operates from both our Eastern and Western regions, and while the bulk of our opportunities are based in these highlighted states, many crews travel during their seasons, and we have internships available in just about every other state and territory in the country, including Guam and Puerto Rico. Choose to join one of our conservation crews, where you'll serve alongside a team of your peers. You'll learn from professionals in the industry and work together on conservation service projects ranging from trail building and maintenance to habitat and watershed restoration, invasive species removal, or historic preservation, just to name a few.
I owe a lot to this program for steering my direction in life. It's really just allowed me access to a career path and just an absolute love of the outdoors.
We also offer specialized affinity crews where groups that are underrepresented in the outdoor industry can find community in their shared identity. Women's crews, Indigenous crews, and American Sign Language inclusion crews are just a few of the affinity crews we offer.
Being on an all-female crew kind of makes me feel more comfortable to be myself. It's very empowering. I like to work with people I'm alike, and it's just easier for me to feel comfortable and get into the groove, especially if it's females that I'm working with.
Recent era veterans can find opportunities on one of our Veterans Fire Corps crews. Vets can transition back to civilian life while earning industry-recognized certifications and training for a career in wildland firefighting.
I'm doing it for my state, I'm doing it for my country, and I'm serving all over again. There's a lot of veterans out there that are looking for something to put themselves into, to mean something again, and this is really helpful for that.
Or choose one of our individual placement internships, where you'll work alongside professionals from federal agencies like the National Park Service and Bureau of Land Management, or community-based nonprofits. As an individual placement intern, you'll complete a wide range of conservation-related projects in fields like energy efficiency, land management, education and interpretation, science, volunteer engagement, or communications. You could become a community volunteer ambassador and serve under the mentorship of National Park Service employees while you learn about building relationships with local communities and work to strengthen volunteer numbers in the park you're assigned to. Or you could spend a season as a scientist in the park and assist the National Park Service with research, geologic mapping, GIS analysis, and resource monitoring. These are just a few of the many exciting opportunities for growth, adventure, and service within Conservation Legacy. From the Hopi Pueblo to Chattanooga, Tennessee, the deserts of Arizona to the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. Join us, give back, and become part of something bigger. Positions are open now. Visit our website to learn more and apply today.
Welcome and thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and energy to join this space and learn a little bit more about Conservation Legacy and what we have available. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I believe that Sharina mentioned this in the chat, but this will be a 2-hour event. The first hour is going to be hosted in this main space where folks will learn more about our organization and hear from our alumni. The second hour of our event today will actually feature 4 different sessions of breakout spaces where you can choose to learn about our individual programs and current opportunities available. In that space, you'll be able to ask questions and find out specifically about what could be next for you. If you have some questions in this main space, please feel free to add those questions to the chat. Or share when we get to the breakout spaces as well. If you would like communication accommodations, there are 2 ASL interpreters. You will find them in the participant list as interpreter Deandra and interpreter Colby. Closed captioning is also available, and please make use of that chat feature. All right, Ria, did I miss any of our housekeeping pieces?
No, you covered it just great, Michelle. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start off our showcase with a few words from our CEO, Silas Elwood York, and our COO, Amy Sovacool. Elwood, Amy, please take it away.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us in this showcase. I'd like to challenge the people on the phone. Have you ever been to a function where everybody's talking about doing something? They're always talking about climate change. They're talking about water quality. They're talking about air quality. Well, we at Conservation Legacy give you the opportunity to not talk about it, but be about it. The opportunities that we offer here and the things that we do, we're trying to make a real impact on climate change, how you live, your life values, your opportunity to be yourself. Those things are what we aspire to do, and those are the values that we uphold. I'm coming to you from Miami. They say the city that I'm in currently could be underwater in the next 50 years if we don't take some direct approach toward climate change. Those of you who live near the coast, those of you who live in insular areas, our work impacts your life regularly. So I'd like to offer to you, pay attention. Look at the positions that we have. Talk to the individuals here. None of them are scripted. None of them are forced to be here. We're all volunteers. So for tonight, don't just talk about it, try to be about it. I'm going to turn you over to my COO, who's Amy Sovacool. She's been in this organization for longer than she probably wants to mention because she still looks like she's 16. So I want to say thank you all for coming. Thank you all for participating. And without further ado, Amy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Elwood, and welcome everyone. I've been looking forward to being able to have an opportunity to certainly to be a part of this event and to speak with all of you. And hopefully you all can learn from the team of staff that we have here as we go through the evening. And I'll just keep my remarks brief. As Elwood said, I am a product of the Corps. I grew up on an island in Maine and went to school for political science and environmental science and was not sure what direction I was headed. And I found Conservation Corps work starting in the East Coast and then ended up with what was a really small organization in Durango, Colorado at the time, doing conservation work as a member, working on some leadership development programs and working on a lot of wildfire projects and doing the projects that Ella just referenced of helping our public lands and our climate. And I found my place. I didn't know it at the time, but the first 2 years, especially in the conservation world, changed my life, set me on a trajectory of where I am today. The relationships that I developed, the personal skills that I've developed in that time, especially, really were a foundation to who I am today. And I feel very honored to have had that experience and to certainly have been part of the conservation field ever since. And I do feel purpose, and I feel very so honored and lucky to have been in a space where every day I wake up and I go to work and I feel like I'm doing something good and making an impact in the world. So we have so many diverse opportunities in the organization. That video only highlighted a small portion of what's available for folks that are interested in this space. I know you'll hear from a lot of our leaders about what we have in the organization, and really hope that you ask questions and figure out how Conservation Corps' Conservation Legacy and all of our programs can make a change in your life and your trajectory. So with that, I want to hand it back to our amazing facilitators and staff here who are welcoming us and welcoming you all to this space. So thank you all.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much. We really appreciate your time and energy. All right. Now we're actually going to move into, just a minute for me. All right, sorry. Now we are actually going to move into learning a little bit more about each of our programs. At the top of the hour, you'll have the opportunity to visit with each of our different programs. I'm sorry, hold on for just a minute there. At the top of the hour, you'll have the opportunity to visit with each of our different programs through a series of breakout rooms. With more information about who they are, here are our programs nationwide. I'm going to go ahead and ask that our program staff share their names first so that we can make sure that they're spotlighted, provide a brief intro, and then give us a little pitch about your organization. Let's go ahead and start off with Appalachian Conservation Corps.
Hey everybody, I'm Maddie Interdonato. I'll give them a second to pop me up on the screen. There we go. It's great to meet you all. My preferred pronouns are she, her. I am the Individual Placements Program Manager with Appalachian Conservation Corps. We are based out of Harrisonburg, Virginia, but we serve the Appalachian region. So from Maryland, Virginia, DC, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, pretty good sized area over there. So we are a growing program that does mainly crew and individual placements. So if you're interested in learning about opportunities with us in this area, if you're local to the area, or if you're interested in working in that area, we hope to see you guys join us later in our breakout room. Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie. All right. Ancestral Lands Conservation Corps.
Good afternoon, good evening, all. This is Kyle Trujillo. Kyle Trujillo in the she, Turchi in the she, Kis Ani Bashichin, Hashkan Adzoh Dashache, Hado Kis Ani Dashanala. My name is Kyle Trujillo. My first clan is Bitterwater Clan. He, him, his pronouns. I am a director with Ancestral Lands Conservation Corps, or ALCC. We're based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Gallup, New Mexico, Acoma Pueblo, Zuni Pueblo, and Hopi Nation. We're an Indigenous-led program of conservation legacy. We endeavor to connect youth and young adults to service projects on the land. Our vision is healthy communities who understand the connections between ecological and cultural well-being. For ALCC, conservation work is just one means of offering to the land. By bringing local community members together to work with the land, we learn together and we change together. Our programs provide participants and staff an opportunity to realize our own distinct leadership and vision for ourselves. A couple of examples of our project work include historic preservation at places like Chaco Canyon, El Morro National Monument, and Gila Cliff Dwellings. And our Acoma program also has led the way in sustainable agricultural practices by teaching the next generation the ways of farming and seed saving. Those are just two of our many programmatic offerings. We pride ourselves on aligning our work with our lives and communities because the work is our history and our future. We look forward to talking with you in our breakout room. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. All right. Next, we have Arizona Conservation Corps.
Hi, my name is Marcy Caballero Reynolds. My pronouns are she, her, they, and my position is the Senior Manager of Recruitment and Member Support. I too am a product of the Conservation Corps. I started in Salida, then moved to Durango, then joined Montana Conservation Corps, and now I'm here. Arizona has a wealth of opportunities when it comes to working in diverse ecosystems. You can be in northern Arizona working in your ponderosa pine forest working down in the Sonoran Desert where you're going to be in the low desert. And so you're exposed to all of these different places and there's a wealth of biodiversity. Our projects vary from invasive species work, working in national parks, the Grand Canyon, and Saguaro, all our different monuments, building trails. And so there's a variety of things you can do. But I think ultimately, I come back to this organization all the time is because you can be your authentic self, and you are in a community that is able to support you, and you can move from one program to another. And yeah, join our breakout room if you want to know more about what Arizona has to offer. There'll be 3 of us, and look forward to talking to you.
Thanks, Marcy. All right, Conservation Corps, North Carolina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Dutton. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm the recruitment and member support coordinator for Conservation Corps North Carolina. We are based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we also have an operational office in the north of Durham, North Carolina. So CCNC serves the entire state of North Carolina and works closely with all kinds of partners, including the U.S. Forest Service, state parks, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Tribe, the city of Raleigh, and so much more. CCNC focus heavily on trail stewardship, fire prevention, disaster relief, and park maintenance. We have many different crews, including opportunities for youth and young adults, crews that focus on diversity, leadership, or specialized skills such as fire or chainsaw crews. CCNC offers many opportunities for growth of professional and personal skills, as well as opportunities to make a difference in the community. And we look forward to talking to you in our breakout room.
Thanks, Stephanie. Conservation Corps, New Mexico.
Good evening, everyone. I am Anthony Thomas, the Director of Conservation Corps New Mexico. We are based in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Conservation Corps New Mexico exists to service southern New Mexico communities and preserve our public lands such as White Sands National Park, Lincoln National Forest, Gila National Forest, Carlsbad Caverns, Guadalupe Mountains, and other national parks and forests in southern New Mexico, western Texas, and we have interns working in Oklahoma as well. Our Corps comprises of a crew program and an individual placement internship program, which has tripled in size over the past year. We work in partnership with federal agencies such as the Bureau of Land Management, National Park Service, and U.S. Forest Service. Now, lately, we have partnered with Western New Mexico University to provide degree opportunities in wildland fire science for our veteran fire corps crew. We have work in progress partnership with New Mexico State University's Agriculture and Environmental Science College for students to gain work experience and job skills, or just to instill a strong work ethic. Conservation Corps New Mexico is steadily growing in reputation and impact. It is a pleasure to have you here, and I thank you for taking the time to learn more about us. Genevieve Tucker, my recruiter, will talk to you more about crew programs, and Allie Burdick runs the individual placement program if you're interested in being an intern with us. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. Next, we have Southwest Conservation Corps, Four Corners.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Slibianic, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm with Southwest Conservation Corps in Colorado. SEC has been around for over 20 years, and we are lucky enough to call the beautiful remote and Rocky Mountains of Colorado and Northern New Mexico our office. SEC operates out of 2 locations. I work in our Four Corners office out of Durango, Colorado. We also have Trevor Taylor on the Zoom call. He's with our Los Valles office in Salida, Colorado. SEC holds a special place in both of our hearts. We're deeply attached to our mission of empowering individuals to positively impact their lives, their communities, and the environment. AmeriCorps in the core world has impacted my life more than I can express into words. I began my career as a crew member over 10 years ago, and I've never looked back. Working for SEC is far more than just a job. You get to work, camp, live, and play alongside a crew of young adults doing all sorts of conservation work in beautiful landscapes. Projects include running chainsaws and crosscuts, completing technical trail work on 14,000-foot peaks, habitat restoration, and even solar panel installation projects this fall. We have traditional adult crews for folks between the ages of 18 and 30, as well as affinity crews such as the Veterans Fire Corps, Women's Plus crews, leaders of color, and leaders of cultural diversity. And we also have queer crews. Both offices are looking for members to join us for our fall season. So yeah, appreciate everyone being here, and we both look forward to chatting with you more.
Thanks, Lisa. Were you covering Las Valles and Four Corners?
Yes, unless Trevor has anything to add.
No, you covered it beautifully. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. All right, Southeast Conservation Corps.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jalen Holloway, and I am the enrollment specialist at the Southeast Conservation Corps. We really focus on grit, getting your hands dirty, and learning impactful new things. So we're based in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we work in a bunch of different places like Mississippi, Kentucky, Georgia, you name it. So really, we're in the Southeast region. The only region we try to stay away from is North Carolina, but if it's not North Carolina, we're pretty much there if it's the Southeast. We focus on veteran fire corps programs, youth development programs. We're actually bringing a all women's fire corps program, which we're super excited about. And another really great program in Georgia that's happening is our urban archaeology program. So it just provides a lot of resources for folks who are thinking about archaeology as a major or are in archaeology to get their feet wet. So I am really looking forward to talking to y'all in our breakout room. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Stewards individual placement.
Hi, Michelle. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Jessica Zukowski, the program manager at Stewards Individual Placements in the East. Stewards Individual Placements is a national program of conservation legacy. We have an individual placement program where we are connecting members across the country to positions in many initiatives with nonprofit and federal partners. We are going to give you an opportunity to learn more about the different initiatives that we have in our breakout rooms, but Stewards also has the VISTA program. So we'll be introducing you to the VISTA program as well in one of our other breakout rooms.
Great, thank you, Jessica. All right, lots of exciting options and opportunities to connect with our different programs, and your next step in your conservation career path here shortly during our breakout spaces. Let's see here. Ria, I think I will pass it to you.
Thanks, Michelle. And yay, so exciting to hear from everyone. We're going to kick it over to Ms. Kate Klickgard, and she's going to give us an overview of AmeriCorps.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
All right. Sorry for no video. I am currently on PTO and I am sniping internet in the hotel hallway, so bear with me with the technology. But my name is Kate Klickgard and I use she, her pronouns. And my position is with our central staff in the Durango office, helping to manage our AmeriCorps grants, of which we have many. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how our local programming intersects with AmeriCorps. And so I'm going to jump into my little presentation. Bear with me again on the technology. This one. All right, and can you see my PowerPoint now?
Yes, looks great.
Okay, perfect. All right. So AmeriCorps is a federal agency that grants funds to support nonprofit organizations like ours at Conservation Legacy all across the country. As you just heard from all of our awesome local program folks, we have multiple programs across the country. And while not all of our core positions are AmeriCorps positions, all of our programs do have some AmeriCorps positions. So we're going to talk a bit about what those look like, what some of the benefits are. And this little map that might be a little bit hard to see. Again, sort of pinpoints where some of those local offices are, and then where we have placement sites all across the country. So I'm going to skip on forward. So some fast facts about AmeriCorps. It's grown significantly in the last decade, I would say, since I've been involved in it especially. There are currently 250,000 members and volunteers across the country, serving 40,000 different communities. Across all of the time of AmeriCorps and its different iterations, over 1 million participants have served, over 1.6 billion hours, and received over $4 billion worth in education awards. I'm going to talk a little bit about what some of that means. But generally thinking about why be part of AmeriCorps, besides the benefits that we're going to talk about in a moment, you're part of something pretty massive. When you think about the network of current members and alumni over time, part of a family of over 1 million individuals. And it's really going to give you an opportunity to grow both personally and professionally. You'll hear a lot about that, in your breakout rooms. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just know that for me, and you've heard this from a number of others, AmeriCorps has been really impactful in my life. Not only did I serve 2 years myself, but it has really launched my entire career. So that was 12 years ago, and now every day since has been involved in either participating in, running, helping manage, directing an AmeriCorps program. So it is near and dear to my heart. There are 3 different branches in the AmeriCorps side of the family. I'm not going to talk too much about AmeriCorps NCCC at the bottom because that is separate from what we do here at Conservation Legacy, but you can read about all of this more at AmeriCorps' website, which is americorps.gov. We do operate state and national programs and VISTA programs, and we'll talk a little bit about what some of the differences are and what some of the different benefits are. And then those are also questions that you can chat about in your breakout session. The Stewards East team will tell you more about VISTA. So some of the member benefits. So there's a living allowance stipend that's paid bi-weekly. Upon completion of your term, you're eligible for a Siegel Education Award, which I'll talk about on the next slide. There is an opportunity for student loan forbearance and payment of accrued interest. Depending on the program that you're in and the site that you're at, there will be different trainings and certifications that you'll be offered. An opportunity, this is maybe sort of a given, but an opportunity to serve on meaningful projects, things that hopefully really inspire you, in your personal and professional growth. Our full-time members are eligible for healthcare and childcare. And then the VISTA program, which is a full-time year-long program, has some additional and some different benefits. So with VISTA, you have the opportunity to receive a cash stipend at the end of your term instead of the education award. There is also an opportunity for a relocation travel allowance and a settling in allowance. And then you also are eligible for a non-competitive eligibility for federal positions following your term as well. And then the 2 that weren't listed on the website and are now hiding behind my screen that are maybe a little less obvious, again, participating in a program like this really connects you with a lot of other individuals that are doing similar types of service and also a vast array of other types of programming. And that alumni network is massive and fairly active. And so you have that network of support. Over the last couple of years, the Employers of National Service was also created, and that entity helps connect AmeriCorps and Peace Corps alums to employers that are looking for those participants, so that prioritize hiring folks that have AmeriCorps and Peace Corps experience. So the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award that I mentioned that participants are eligible for when they successfully complete their terms will vary between $1,374 for our smallest term size, which is 300 hours, to just under $6,500 for our full term length, which is 1,700 hours. So you can use that education award to repay qualified student loans and pay for educational expenses at higher education institutions that are qualified and different training programs. I'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide. You must use your education award within 7 years of service. And then as I mentioned, during your term, you may be eligible to defer your current student loans or have some of your interest paid on loans that you already have. Additionally, again, in the last couple years, the Schools of National Service has also been created, and that is a network of schools that provide potentially an additional scholarship or a match for the education award. So potentially up to double what you receive would be matched by another school. And so I don't know if these slides will be shared, but these are all active links. And if not, you can also find all of this on the AmeriCorps website. And then I want to talk a little bit about some potential creative ways to use your education award. So like we already mentioned, the repayment of qualified student loans, which is loans backed by the federal government for specific higher education entities. The cost of attendance for a new enrollment or courses, and some of that could include tuition, books, supplies, transportation, room and board. I know folks who have used their education award to buy a laptop because they needed it for their schoolwork. So there are some creative ways to use it in that sphere. Also for qualified trade schools, and the list is endless, really. I threw a couple examples on here, but it's a long and varied list. And then some of the other creative things I've heard of, yoga teacher certification, participating in programs like Outward Bound or NOLS, wildfire job training, study abroad programs. Some folks have used the education award to go to a community college and take business courses and start their own business. So it sounds, when you read about it on the website, it'll sound like it's very particular what you can use it for, but it actually can be used in some creative ways. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that there are some limits, some term and education award limits for AmeriCorps, and that is for state and national, 4 terms of any length. So no matter what your term size is, you can only serve 4 terms. For VISTA, it's 5 total years of service. And then for the education award, no matter how many terms you serve, you are only eligible for an aggregate of 2 full-time education awards. So that full-time award is just under $6,500. And I think that's all I have for slides, and just wanted to echo what everyone else has said, that AmeriCorps has been really impactful in my life. I was thinking a lot about our staff and how many of us have gone through a Conservation Corps program or an AmeriCorps program, or many of them, and gone on to be part of this amazing organization. So highly recommended. And that's all I got. Back to you, I think, Ria.
Thanks so much, Kate. Appreciate you sharing that information with us about AmeriCorps. And Kate did mention VISTA a couple of times, and we will have a separate breakout group, which we missed mentioning in our overview, but there will be a specific group for VISTA as well, in case folks are interested in learning more about that program. All right, I think we can take down this slide if you can, Kate, if you're still sharing your screen. And we'll kick it over to Michelle, who will introduce our panel for the remainder of this first hour.
Great, thanks, Ria. All right. Today, we are joined by a panel of 5 wonderful folks who have previously served with or are currently working with conservation legacy programs in a variety of roles. what better way to learn about the experience and how it can support your career path than through the voices of those who have done this work. In consideration of time, we will not be able to open up questions from the audience today, but you will have an opportunity to direct questions to our staff during the upcoming breakout rooms. Let's start off by getting to know our alumni who are here today. Patrick Ortiz, could you start us off by introducing yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Patrick Ortiz. I go by he, him, his pronouns. I currently work for a locally based nonprofit in South Central Colorado called San Luis Valley Great Outdoors. I'm the operations director. I've been with the organization since 2018, and we work to create recreation opportunities for the communities in the San Luis Valley. It's an 8,000 square mile valley with about 19 communities, very rural, lower socioeconomic status for most communities, and really just was catalyzed by a loosely drawn together coalition of land managers, city officials, public educators, and various other like just concerned citizens around like, hey, we need a little bit more trails in our communities, because after surveying them, they found that they don't have time to drive 40 minutes to or an hour to a Forest Service or BLM trailhead. So trying to provide equitable outdoor access and culturally relevant programming is how we work with our partners with the Generation Wild Coalition. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I currently manage our locally hired trail crew that has been building trails in communities and helping the BLM and Forest Service with trail maintenance and restoration projects. So yeah, I was born and raised here in the San Luis Valley, and it was great to find a full-time job back at home after jumping around, working on various trail crews across the West. Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Patrick. All right, Arden Wayako, can you join us?
Hey, Kashi, Koton Sundakanapka, or Arden Way Coalition. Not the dog down dog on Charlie. So, yeah, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Arden Waiko, and yeah, my clans are Corn and Child of Corn, but I'm here representing the ALCT, which is Ancestral Lands Conservation Corps. And yeah, as mentioned, you know, I've been part of the program since 2016 as a crew member, eventually working my way up crew leader, and now staff position, doing the communications technician. So recruitment, social media kind of management. So it's been a pretty wild ride for myself, and just to be in this moment, it's I embrace it. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and see everyone here, and that's me. Hope to talk to you more in the breakout rooms, but thank you.
Thanks, Arden. We'll have some more questions for you here in just a minute. Joseph Dobbins, are you with us?
I sure am. How's it going? Hello, I am Joseph Dobbins, pronouns he, him, his. I currently work for Conservation Corps North Carolina. Current role is field supervisor. I've been here with CCNC for a calendar year now. Where has the time gone? Recently, with this program, I started off as a crew leader for the BIPOC crew. And then recently, we just finished the season leading the South Carolina fire crew, which was super fun and frustrating and challenging. I loved all of it. It was pretty fun. I had a lot of fun. And I got my start here with AmeriCorps about 5 years ago, but I first heard of it when I was about 19 in culinary school. Someone just kept using the word AmeriCorps, AmeriCorps. And then finally, I just Googled it one day, and I got on the website, messed around, signed myself up for NCCC. And then at the end of my term in NCCC, I was in Puerto Rico doing some concrete roofing for disaster for Hurricane Maria. And someone from like Montana Conservation Corps came out to help us out for a day. And I was like, do you all do disaster all the time? And it was like, no, we do trail work and chainsawing. So I Googled them and other cores on YouTube, and I ran across a video of someone making breakfast, and it was like eggs and sausage in a pan. And you can see the sun coming up in the background. I was like, I want to experience that. So I Googled Tennessee Conservation Corps, and I signed up for SECC, and I've been outdoors ever since.
Thanks, Joseph. All right, and our last panelist, Martin Lively, please join us.
Hey there, folks. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. My name is Martin Lively. I use he, him pronouns. I am currently the Grand River Keeper with Lead Agency, which is a grassroots environmental justice nonprofit in Miami, Oklahoma, in the northeastern part of the state. I served for 3 terms with Lead Agency as an AmeriCorps Vista member through Steward's individual placement. I didn't really have a position title as such. I sort of view myself as the person who did things that needed doing. We're a very tiny crew, but I had an amazing time working as a Vista. And just a brief crazy fact, in the 6th grade, my mother had to give a speech to her class, and she chose to write for her first speech ever about the newly created program called AmeriCorps Vista, which I didn't even know until after I was Vista. So anyway, happy to talk more in the panel as we go along. Thanks.
Thanks, Martin. All right. First question for our panelists, and feel free to, whoever wants to take this one first, I'll leave it up to you. But our first question is, please just tell us a little bit about your season, your experience, your project work when you were working as a Corps member or an AmeriCorps Vista or individual placement with our programs.
And we can have Anna go first. I think we figured out her audio.
Great, sorry about that. Anna.
No worries. Oh no, Anna, I think we might need you to call in. All right, we'll pass that question over to the rest of the panel while we get Anna sorted out.
All right, Patrick, do you want to start us off?
Sure, I'll jump in. So kind of just talked about my current role, but I did Southwest Conservation Corps Los Valles out of Salida, Colorado in 2014. I was on a 6-month trail crew and did a variety of work on the CDT, kind of on the area of near Monarch Pass, kind of in the center of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. So this was really my first time working on backcountry projects, camping 8 days at a time, 6 days off, really creating community with my crew. And previous to that, I did a year internship at Golden Gate National Recreation Area, which was really front country work. There wasn't camping, but I got a lot of experience doing just the learning a lot of the basic trail maintenance and construction carpentry skills out in Golden Gate National Recreation Area, working in Muir Woods on the boardwalk. There was a section of the Redwood Trail that was concrete, or it was asphalt. So it was really great to learn about the ecological need to tear up that asphalt, get it out of there, and put in a boardwalk that provides better drainage for the creek and the coho salmon that are trying to be reintroduced there. So being able to be part of projects like that is what inspired me to learn about conservation corps. The CCC backcountry program in California was very top of mind in California, and people I talked to that were from there. The NCCC in the Bay Area, just a very robust network there. I had applied at various corps around the West, and got the gig back here closer to home, because San Luis Valley is just about an hour south of Salida. That was kind of the big goal. Is just, I have a degree in physical geography and natural resource management from Adams State University, just here in Alamosa, Colorado. And was really just looking for that foot in the door to get into natural resource management work. I knew one thing that I loved being outside and, working with my body, seeing a tangible product by the end. I was able to do some mammoth digs as part of my college career with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. So that was kind of my introduction to, being out in the elements and kind of pushing yourself to get through and get projects done. So I'd say learning about the physical effort and the skills that are done in ecological and restoration type work was something I wanted to really dive into, and saw it as a foot in the door as a career in public land management, and really just advocating for stewardship of our public lands and recreation areas, and understanding that, the personal responsibility we have as stewards of the land is something that, I think as a society we're getting a little disconnected to. So trying to just promote a reconnection to, our heritage and learning from Indigenous leaders who have been the stewards of the land for millennia prior to, colonizers coming to North American continent. So it's really nice to be able to find pragmatic ways to bring in, solutions that are fact-based and that are still ongoing solutions to make the land healthier and combat the impacts of climate change. So it's something that I think I'll do the rest of my life. And, my experience working in a trail crew, being in wilderness, and feeling that healing power of just being in wild spaces and finding community in that space together was really something that has stuck with me and has really wanted me to promote more people to experience something like that as a part of their career trajectory, or just as something to do something when you don't know what you want to do with your life, kind of just getting thrown out and challenging yourself. This is a good option for anyone interested in doing that. So
thank you, Patrick. And my apologies to the panel. We're going to make a slight change here. So rather than going through and having everyone respond to each of our questions, I think we're going to have folks respond to one question each, just so that we're able to continue moving towards those breakout spaces. So I apologize. And again, we greatly appreciate you all being here and sharing with us today. Anna, can you hear me? Or can we hear you?
Let's see. All right, let's try this again.
We got you loud and clear.
Awesome. Third time's the charm. I'm Anna Blaylock. I was a community volunteer ambassador with Conservation Legacy. I did a year-long term last year, and then I actually agreed to stay on for a second term. And as a result of my experience, I actually just recently took a position with the National Park Service at Lake Mead National Recreation Area. I was able to use my public land corps hiring authority that I got as a result of the internship, which was really fantastic and goes to show the success of the program. But I took the community volunteer ambassador position because I was kind of at a crossroads and I didn't know where I wanted to go in my career, other than the fact that I knew I wanted to work with a public land management agency. I just didn't know doing what exactly. And luckily, thanks to the community volunteer ambassador program, I was able to kind of figure out my passion. And I work with hundreds of volunteers every day, doing primarily event management, and I also manage a few specific programs. But I think one of the biggest things for me is working with people that care so deeply about our public lands is really inspiring. Before the internship, I'd done a couple seasons with the Park Service working as a fee collector in the entrance stations, and going from just, engaging with the general public to volunteers who absolutely love what they do. They're giving up their free time to make a difference on their public lands. It was just really inspiring, and to me, I found a lot of fulfillment in that position. And it kind of came at the right time. So like I said, I was at a crossroads. I did not know how I was going to proceed with my career. My background is in graphic design, so not really related to the outdoors at all, but I've kind of found a way to use both of those and still kind of pursue my graphic design passions while also still trying to make a difference and work with volunteers on public lands. But I 10 out of 10 recommend the Community Volunteer Ambassador Program. The connections that you make, and I think that this probably goes to show for all of the different internship programs, you make a lot of connections across the country, which is really exciting. And you get to see how those different connections that you build are using their skills and their experiences to move forward. And again, it's super inspiring and fulfilling, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
Thanks, Anna. And if folks are interested in learning more about the Community Volunteer Ambassador Program, you can join the Stewards breakout space coming up here shortly. Anna, can you tell us a little bit about any advice that you would give to current or prospective members in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that I would say is just to really make it your own, no matter what type of internship you end up getting or whatever position you accept. Just be open to whatever and make it your own. I think with the CVA position, I was able to take on new trainings and work on different projects that aligned with my interests. And so I was able to kind of create the experience that I wanted and needed in order to move forward with my career. And so one of the things that I would often tell other CVAs and all of that is, you know, your internship is what you make of it. Use it as a stepping stone to get to where you want to be.
Love that. Thank you so much, Anna. Arden, can you tell us the same thing? What advice would you give to current or prospective members?
Sure. Yeah, it's a lot to think about for myself, but I would just say, you know, be patient with the work you're doing, whether you're a crew member or an intern, and yeah, just wake up every day with a purpose. You know, you're waking up every day to improve someone's life, maybe the future generations. You know, someone looks up to you, definitely. Once they see that logo and maybe they want to join you, they're asking what it is you do exactly. But yeah, I would just say those two things. Be patient at it when times get tough, when challenges are tough, and again, just keep at it and wake up with a purpose. So I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Arden. Joseph, same question. What advice would you give to current and prospective members?
I would say 3 things I would give advice for is to be prepared, to be flexible and adaptable. And the 3rd thing is just being willing to have fun and control the things you can control. Just like on a rainy day or just when you're out in the field, you're just not going to have cell reception. I just tell people always have like your rain gear and an extra granola bar and a little snack you like to eat, like chocolate or maybe a fruit snack or something. Just having a good attitude, just be willing to accept, you know, some things you just can't control. Sometimes projects don't line out as you thought, or the tool just won't cut on that day, or maybe you forgot your file or something. Just being willing to roll with the punches, try to make any situation as good as you can, and being able to build and maintain relationships along the way is huge. And it'll just make your experience that much better. And who knows, down the line, you may cross paths with that person again. You have that cool story to connect with, and that person may need you to help do a job that they're looking for at some point.
Thanks, Joseph. And I have a follow-up question for you because you mentioned food and I love food. What is your favorite trail snack?
I don't have a typical trail snack. I just like sour candy.
I like it. Thank you.
Sour Patch Kids specifically.
Oh, okay. There it is. Yeah. Thanks, Joseph. Martin, we've got the same question for you. What advice would you give to current and prospective members?
Well, my advice is going to be a little bit different in one respect, because I come at this as a Vista, right? So, Vistas aren't out there doing the trail work. Typically, we're writing grants to get the supplies, right? We're writing the policies and procedures for the organization. So, I would say to folks, if you're an introvert, if you can't quite see yourself working with the public and going home sane at the end of every single day, like Vista may be the place for you. And I think recognizing that it's sort of like I was an English major, so Leo Tolstoy wrote Anna Karenina, right? And the first sentence was, all happy families are alike, but all unhappy families are unhappy in their own way. As a Vista, you're really focused on increasing capacity. That means capacity is lacking. That means you're going into a community that is in some way unhappy. And know that the people you work with is just one slice of that community, and you're there to bring your energy, your drive, your passion, but also recognize that there's a lot that you don't know, and there's a lot that you don't even know that you don't know. And you're going to have to figure it out as you go along. And some days that's exciting, and some days it's dispiriting. Some days it's hard. But it's all incredibly worthwhile. I mean, there is nothing so amazing as realizing that, wow, I wrote this grant that got my organization $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $80,000. And now they can do more with that, right? And celebrate those victories, the big ones and the small ones, because there are days where you're going to need to remember your victories. It's tough work sometimes, but it's really good work. And the amazing thing about it is that for most of these things, this is work where nobody gets hurt, and that's a remarkable thing. I also want to say, just as a short plug, lead agency has a Vista position open right now. And I think Trish is going to be talking about that a bit in the breakout rooms, but I loved working as Vista. It was incredible. And any work, whether it be AmeriCorps or Vista, is really worth doing. And I hope that if you are willing to take a year and dedicate yourself, especially if you're a mid-career professional, if you've been out in the work world, please do this work. There are organizations that need your life experience, your skills. Not enough people later in life do this work. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, but thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Martin. And for folks who are interested in learning more about serving as an AmeriCorps Vista and more about the experience and benefits, definitely please visit the Vista breakout room here shortly. Thank you so much. We are humbled by our alumni, and just thank you for joining us today. I apologize for some of the changes that we saw. I know we went over time and yet cut things a little bit short. Thank you all for being flexible with us. And we hope to see you all again soon.